Good evening, folks. Yeah. Like Jason said this morning, this is my first time doing a lesson. This is also my first time, to my knowledge, in any form of public speaking. So take it easy with the criticism, right? Okay. And many times in people's lives, they will experience a hardship that they had not counted on. And I'm not talking about some, walk in, you stub your toe. I'm talking about something exceptional that shakes you to your core. And oftentimes, when they experience these hardships, they go to God and they ask a specific question. Why me? Why didn't God help me when I prayed? Or why didn't God help this person make it through cancer? Or why didn't God save my father or mother, right? Many times people in this religious world ask this question when praying and say, well, maybe God turned his back on me, quoting the latter half of James 5:16, which is, confess your faults to one another and pray for one another, and pray for one another. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much, saying, well, I'm a righteous man. Why didn't God answer my prayer? And many people ask that in the religious world today. A famous example of a person who asked that question would be Charles Darwin. He lost his daughter, Annie, as well as two others early in life, causing him to lose faith. And I find that a sad question. Many people ask that question in the world today. All too often, people, and we're no exception, view prayer not exclusively as a form of communication, but as a form of wish list of sorts. Lord, give me this, give me that, because I need it. I need the patience. Well, that's not what I was trying to say. Let me see. But asking God for stuff is not necessarily what I'm trying to get across. What I'm trying to get to is I'll give you an example. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. He asked in Matthew 26:39, I believe it is. Yep. And when he went a little further, he fell on his face and prayed alone. Went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. In this, I want to bring two parts. I want to emphasize two parts. First, Jesus in this example is alone, because he went a little further from his disciples. He didn't make a show of it. He went to go pray, right? So he had examples of himself praying in both the good and the bad times. And this time in the Garden of Gethsemane was certainly a stressful time for him, as many of you know. Another example of him praying alone was Luke 9:18, and it happened as he was alone that his disciples, my bad. That's not the what. That is not happened as he was praying. Well, let's move past that real quick. Do you think Jesus wanted to die that day in the Garden of Gethsemane? Because he did know he was going to die. He did know. And I don't think he wanted to suffer, but he knew God had a plan. What about Stephen in Acts 7? Could you imagine him praying? Could you imagine? I imagine he would have prayed not to be stoned, but he had faith that there was a greater plan at work. There's always a plan in the hardships you endure. Do not lose faith. God always has a plan for all of this. There's always a path. There's always something that can be done. While asking God why isn't necessarily a wrong question, a better one may be, how can I use this hardship to bring glory to you? In Philippians 4:13 it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I'll leave you with one final verse. 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you're able, but with temptation will make a way of escape that you may be able to bear it. With everything you experience in life, there will be a way out. There will be a way you can bear it. Suffering is temporary on this earth. It's temporary. If there's a hardship that you need to confess, or a trouble that is troubling you, you can come forward and we can make things right. We can help make things right. There's always a way out. Don't be discouraged. Don't. There's always going to be a way out. If you need to confess sins or you need to make things right with God, there's water. We can baptize you today. That's all I can think of right now. Okay. Please stand and sing.